Welcome to Impact, where immigrants and Americans discuss America today. I'm your host, Pamela Anchang. On today's show, we will be discussing the impact of American or Western beauty standards on immigrant cultures with our guest, Hana Noka, international model, actress, media personality, and filmmaker of Kosovan Albanian descent. We also have Nini Amerlise, Canadian actress and award-winning international supermodel featured on CTV, Glamour, Vogue, Daily Mail UK, Huffington Post, and someone of Afro, Latin, Jamaican, and Chinese descent. We also have Miss Latina Global from Colombia, Fino, an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, television personality, and philanthropist in Los Angeles. So let's begin with a hot topic of the day. How do American or Western beauty standards impact immigrant cultures? Now, we know Hollywood is notoriously at the forefront of setting beauty standards that seem to transcend our cultural and ethnic boundaries. Now, to discuss this very important topic that affects women of color and beyond, we have a panel of industry insiders who know firsthand what it's like to live under the microscope of its beauty standards. Let's welcome to the show international model, actress, media personality, and filmmaker, Ms. Hana Noka. Hello, Hana.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here with you ladies.
Welcome to Impact.
Thanks.
We also have Canadian actress and award-winning international supermodel, Nini Amerlise.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here.
And let's just reiterate that Nini is also of Jamaican-Chinese descent, right?
And Ghanaian.
And Ghanaian. Yeah. She's a lot of things. So welcome to the show. And finally, and not the least, one who carries the crown, Miss Latina Global, Fino, an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, television personality, and philanthropist. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we are so glad. Today is a day to talk about everything that women deal with.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the show, ladies. So let's start from the top. Let's just dive in. What do you consider Western beauty standards, if there is a definition? Let's start with you, Hana.
Western beauty standards. Well, before the whole social media, I believe everyone had their own style. Mm-hmm. And every place, every country, and especially now that I'm talking for Europe, we all had, we impacted daily girls, each other, friends. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, I think the world is one. Okay. I believe the impact is any media personality that you like, mm-hmm. and mostly who define what fashion is nowadays. So I believe it is really becoming one, whether if it's where I'm from in Kosovo, mm-hmm. or any other place in Europe, or, and I believe that is what's happening right now.
That's an interesting perspective. Nini, as someone of African, Chinese, Jamaican, name it, descent, what to you is considered Western beauty standard?
So growing up, I would tend to see the straight hair, the curly hair, the looser hair. Mm-hmm. And I would never see that Afro girl.
There you go.
I would never see the broad nose, mm-hmm. the fuller lips, the darker skin. The Barbies that I had were a majority, European dolls. I had 2 black African dolls. Mm. And I held them dearly because I'm like, okay, so they kind of look like me, but they had straight hair. So, that was my challenge. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to figure out what was beauty.
Correct.
And I felt that what was lacking in beauty was diversity. I felt that the more we have representation of, the Europeans, the Asians, the Africans, all of the demographics, I felt that's when we can actually look up to them and feel beautiful in ourselves. Until we have a representation of mm-hmm. That's when we can find a classification of where we fit in. And ultimately, when we see all of that, we realize that this is love.
That's interesting that at a very young age, you were able to embrace that. A lot of young girls struggle with that. Miss Latina Global, Jennifer, how are you?
I'm doing so good.
So what to you is considered Western beauty standard by Latina standards, for example?
Well, I think Latina beauty standards are very different from the normal American portrayed beauty. I think when anyone thinks of an American, they think of a tall, thin, blue eyes, blonde hair girl. Mm-hmm. And I think not only just Colombians, but I think a lot of the world always thinks that that's like the prettier version of what the world should be. But I also think that's something that everyone has been conditioned to believe, that it's, that type of,
that
right?
is beautiful.
Yeah, and that's just the honest truth. And so, when you're little, you kind of like, oh, I wish I had blue eyes, or my dad has blue eyes. None of us got blue eyes. And he was born with blonde hair. He has brown hair now. So it's funny that you mentioned the dolls, because there are very, when you're growing up, you have a lot of same blonde dolls that you play with. And here we are also conditioned, I think, to, have a full face of makeup, especially in corporate America, that it's you kind of don't look well put together if you don't have a full face of makeup on. In Colombia, and a lot of the Latin American countries, women go to work, corporate business, they run their entrepreneurship ventures, and they wear very little makeup. It's very simplistic.
Right.
But I think it all goes back to self-love and what you believe beauty is. And beauty is really just what you carry in your heart. The physical appearance, it all fades away eventually.
Yes.
But I think we do a good job of just loving yourself. And
so let me ask you, ladies, because you're all very confident women. So maybe this question really is for the audience, but, give it a shot. Since coming to the United States, have you had to renegotiate, as I would say, like consider yourself trying to do more to fit in to the American beauty standards or the Western beauty standards? Hana, that should be interesting for you because you're European, which typically you fit into that mold of what we consider Western. But do you find any differences between this culture and your culture?
I feel in this culture I'm more free.
Okay.
I can, because for me fashion and beauty standard is just who you are, how you feel inside. And for me, that's what always represented. And coming here, I just felt like if we go in a fashion side, I feel like I'm more free on what I'm wearing. I can go with my tracksuit outside.
Yes.
In Europe, you really can't. You can't go have coffee or brunch or anything like that. So in Europe, I mean, you can do what you want. Let's have that straight. But how people judge you, that's a different story. So over here, I felt like I can put rather a lot of makeup, little makeup, no makeup at all, and just walk outside like that. That's why, for me, America was
liberating.
So amazing. I was like, I can walk with tracksuit and I can put no makeup, my hair up, and everyone talks to me normally like, hey, not like, what are you wearing? Where you going?
That's very interesting because yours is Western to Western, I would say. Your experience is Western to Western. I'm interested to know, Nini, have you had to evolve trying to be integrated because you're black female, but you have all these cultures in you. Yeah. Have you had to try to fit in since living in the United States?
Actually, I had the adverse effect. I resisted the flow of things.
You're a rebel, aren't you?
I am. Like, ever since coming into the fashion industry, I'm like, oh, so they actually like my hair texture, my coils, and my afro is a thing.
Right.
Like, my hair is usually out and big, and usually, like in the past, before even coming to the fashion industry, to straighten it, I used to contour my nose, make it super skinny.
So you had to do that. And where was that?
That was in Canada.
There you go.
And but transitioning into the fashion industry, they're okay with me not wearing much makeup. Okay. And I start to wear my hair with different natural styles, the coils and everything. So I felt more confident. More confident than anything. Right. And I want people to feel more confident because I find that the black or the more African demographic that are in the entertainment industry, if we show more of that natural essence of us, I find that we can now resonate with this imagery. And I feel like black females can go on the road, or black men can go on the road and say, oh, she's attractive. She doesn't have to have straight hair. She doesn't have to wear lace wigs. She doesn't have to wear all these things to hide her actual beautiful, created look.
So is that your wish, or is that what is actually going
on in the industry? It's actually happening right now, slowly, but surely.
Slowly, but it's happening. Well, that's good. And what do you think in the Latina community? What is the experience? Are we having to change up a little bit to feel accepted?
I don't think so. I think that the communities that I'm a part of, and I think coming here at a young age, you can be who you want. You're the way that you dress. I know in in the Colombian community that I grew up in, image is very important. You know, how you dress up, how you show up is the respect that you show for yourself. And I think that's something that instilled in me and a lot of, you know, my cousins. I think that's in
That's
Europe,
what I
right?
meant.
Like, you have to dress very nice.
Right.
Yep.
And
So are we speaking for everyone if we say that, however, women struggle with image regardless of culture? And is it as a result of maybe the whitewashing that takes place in the industry, especially in Hollywood? Who wants to go? Nini. Hey, if this is your first time visiting TIMTV channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we post new content.
Yes, because at the end of the day, a lot of us are even sexualized in the industry. Like we have a depicted image that women have to always like show cleavage, you know, it has to show
Wear
wear heels all the time and, you know, tight fitted clothing. But I feel that the more that we feel confident in ourselves as a being internally,
Yes.
it transitions on the outside.
Like, that's true.
You know, it's a process. You don't get there overnight.
Yes.
But the more you practice that, you look at yourself in the mirror, you know, you tell yourself you're beautiful, you're worth that you have been made with intention.
Yes.
I find that it translates, and now you can actually treat your sisters as sisters. You don't have that hate or that envy or that jealousy, but you look at each other as family.
Yes. And
help
Hana,
each other.
Hana, what do you think about that? Is it as a result of the impact of the Hollywood machine that we are judging ourselves so strongly?
Absolutely. Like, look at the pictures. Look at the celebrities. Everyone looks so flawless and perfect. And look at the cover magazines. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just because I'm thinking of a few young girls that I know. They're like 14, 15, and 16. And I would have a talk with them, and they would be like, oh, God, I hate how I look. Look at my hair. It's horrible. I'm not pretty. My nose, my whatever. And I was like, what are you comparing to? You know, they would show me pictures of big celebrities.
But you two, if I may just jump in,
sure.
Hana and Nini are models. So how does that, you know, rhyme for you, being a model and reflecting that image? Hana?
Wow.
The image you're talking about.
Image is like, just be true to yourself. If that's what you're talking, like how we reflect towards everything.
Yes.
And I know we were speaking outside that, you know, Nini was telling us that she's not, she has all unphotoshopped photos on Instagram and everything. And just that's what I try to do as well.
Yes.
And just to be who you are and to be happy with who you are.
But does the industry or whoever, let's say someone show that you're doing, your agents, do they require you, or do they, you know, do you feel penalized if you don't represent the image that they want from you?
Well, you know, if you have a job and you do that job, then it's under them what they're going to do with that image.
Absolutely.
You don't have much control over it, I believe, and, you know, or maybe in beginning of your career or anything. Maybe later on, I don't know, but I believe when you get paid for a job or you do a job, then it's someone bigger than you who's going to control that.
It's a machine that is altogether really bigger.
Well,
Nini?
I feel that initially, of course, you kind of have to like yield to what your manager wants to say or how they want your brand to be represented.
Absolutely.
However, I find that as you go on in the journey and as you go on in this industry, and the more recognition and the more, you know, respect that you gain from the people that have worked with you, I find that you now have a voice to speak.
Yes.
Thank you.
When you do get that platform, you should now utilize that to help encourage or, you know, shift the focus or shift the understanding of how we perceive
Absolutely.
the world, or, you know?
Yes.
It's
Finally, when you have a voice, then you can make a change.
Absolutely. So Jennifer, you're a beauty queen. What does that represent for you? What is the meaning of being a beauty queen? What are you representing? What's the message?
it truly is power of self-esteem and confidence. And a lot of people wouldn't normally think that when you think of pageant.
Yes.
And I can say for me, it has completely revolutionized the way that I see myself as a woman.
Yes.
I used to be not very feminine prior to winning this pageant. I had a very masculine energy. You know, I've been supporting myself since I was 16 financially at a very young age. And everybody has a sense of masculinity and femininity within themselves.
Yes.
My masculine side overpowered my femininity 100%. And not a lot of people would know that.
Yes.
So I think for me, it really was such a spiritual journey of finding more of that person that I am becoming even more and more every day. And it really just empowers you to just, you have to be very confident when you're on stage.
Yes.
You have to be, you have to love yourself for who you are, you know, and I'm a little bit of a thicker figure than most girls in pageantry.
Yes.
So it goes to say, like, no matter what shape, form you are, you have to love yourself who you are in your journey.
So do you think, ladies, that the Hollywood machine, or maybe not them, media, Hollywood, and you, most of you are in media. Jennifer, you're a media personality. You have your own TV show. Hana, you're also a media personality. And Nini, you do a lot in media as well. So do you think that the industry is responsible, or are we responsible? Who's responsible for how we see ourselves?
I think everything a bit. Sorry.
Let's
Go
start
ahead.
with
Let's
start
go
with
with you.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Let's start with Jennifer.
You know, I think the media, and I think the media affects the people around you, of the image that you should have. But ultimately, it's your responsibility of whatever you see that is being filtered through radio, through Instagram, through any social medium that you are consuming every day, to really step back and go within yourself and say,
Correct.
How confident can I be within myself?
Yes.
Because something that you ladies mentioned is, you know, we're scrolling, everybody's comparing themselves to each other, instant gratification, especially with the younger generation, the 13-year-olds, the 10-year-olds that are growing up. We have to, this is why this platform is so great, because we can say, hey, you are beautiful any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
I'm beautiful with my brown skin. I'm beautiful with no makeup on, you know. Even if
I'm
you go
beautiful
into
with
a
my
job.
ebony and beautiful with my curves.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
That's the
Nini,
beauty of it.
yeah. Nini, what do you think?
So you are yourself responsible
There you
for
go.
portraying your true beauty.
Absolutely. So what are we missing in this conversation, Nini, for all women?
I would say that, you know, the hierarchy in the industry has a huge voice. We don't
Yes.
know who really has all the say. There are people that are working behind the scenes, sending out these messages
Yes.
and having this idolized vision of what people should look like and how women should feel.
Yes.
And not even just women, but men also. So,
Yes.
there is a portion where we have, you know, we make the final conclusion of how we receive the
Absolutely.
information. But at the same time, what are we doing to solve it?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, Hana. What do you think? What are we
Well-
doing to solve it?
Well, you see, now it's a little bit of a tricky thing, because there was one time back home, and, you know, at that time when I used
Where
to
was
host
that? Back home where?
Kosovo.
Okay.
I used to host a show and everything, so I would have a lot of course, and I still do. But like at that time, I remember specifically, I had like so many cover shoots and you know, on the TV and dressing up and all that. And then there was one time, there was this little girl. She wasn't really feeling good, but she really wanted to meet me. And then I went and I met her, and she was so happy. And then I was like, listen, you know, you're not feeling good, and, you know, hope you'll feel better and all that. I'm like, listen, I've had issues. And maybe I had problems with my face as well, you know, with all the acnes, and we all go through them.
Yes.
She was like, please stop. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I want to know you're perfect you. I don't want to know that. I want to have that image of how you are on TV.
Really?
And that made me think, maybe sometimes some people really want to see it like that.
Yes.
You know, just like if you take a picture and you Photoshop it a little bit, you can't lie, you don't like it.
Yes.
But then you're like, oh, I don't want to do it,
Yes.
you know, because that's not me. If you see me on the street or whatever, you know, I'm just now putting it different stuff. But so sometimes it's a tricky thing.
It is tricky.
That's what I'm
isn't
saying.
it?
Sometimes they don't want to see the real celebrity having Starbucks. They want
Yeah.
to see it on a cover magazine.
So
But I think it's changing. I think everything is becoming more, you know, you're getting closer to them. You have more, you know, they're getting to know each other differently.
thank you so much. You know, this conversation, we should have another edition.
I love
Gonna
it.
have to wrap it up.
Me too. But I'm getting emotional
I
as
know
well.
we all are. Well, we hope that this conversation has impacted someone to just love yourself, right? Have self-love.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Thank you so much, ladies. And
Love your imperfections.
absolutely.
Oh,
And
bold in
we
who
will
you
have
are.
to continue this conversation another time. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank
for
you.
this amazing
You're
platform.
welcome. And this is Impact on KPFK 90.7 FM. I'm Pamela Anchang. Thanks for watching today's video. For more TIMTV videos about immigrant lifestyles, click on the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload new content. We upload new content every single week. See you next time on TIMTV.